What up, it's Dane. In this video I'm going to be giving you the 3 biggest mistakes that I made as a newbie and a skinny guy. So let's get straight into it. Do not make these mistakes. So number 1 mistake is not periodizing my programs, right? So when I first started, I just followed some random bullshit program, just threw some random exercises in there and just started doing them. So that's point number 1. Periodize your thing. Now, I'm not saying you can't build more muscle mass if you don't periodize it. You certainly can, especially if you're a newbie, a beginner. You can gain muscle mass almost doing anything, but if you really want to program it properly and almost get guaranteed results, then definitely periodize your stuff. So but those of you who don't know what I mean by periodize, it's basically week 1 you start off with, let's say, 10 sets per muscle group, then week 4 you end up doing 20 sets per muscle group. Which my next point is volume, right? I wish I knew about volume. Now, volume is your sets times your reps times your weight. Although that can also be calculated as total work done. But anyway, let's just call that volume. Now, the reason I wish I knew about this is because, again, if you're periodizing your program, you slowly increase the volume like I just mentioned. You start off with, let's say, 10 sets per muscle group per week, then second week 12, then third week, you know what I'm saying, slowly progress it up, and then do the same thing over and over again. That way, you almost guarantee results, and that way you also do not get injured all the time like I've done, right? And if you think about it, oh yeah, now, you know, not getting injured, that doesn't sound so fancy, like lifting 1 rep max or something like that. But not getting injured allows you to gain more muscle mass because you're not going to be out of the gym for a longer period of time. So injuries, not the fancy thing, but it's real important. Now, step number 3. This is an annoying one. The carb to fat ratio. When I first started, man, I'd ask teachers at college or stuff like this to give me how many macros should I eat, and they wrote macros down and they're like, eat this much, how many carbs, this much fat, or some bullshit like that. And what really comes down to, the carb to fat ratio doesn't inherently matter that much. What I mean by this is, if your goal is fat loss, even if your goal is muscle mass, the amount of carbohydrates to fat ratio won't make a significant difference. And here's exactly why. When the calories are matched and a protein intake are matched, studies have shown, and this has been like, I'll throw a meta-analysis up here where it showed that 35 studies, and a meta-analysis is studies of studies, show that the carb to fat ratio does not matter. So for most people, and even those that have contacted me, you know that I'm saying worry about your total number of calories and worry about your total number of protein intake for the day. That's real important. Now, what I'm not saying is don't go really low carb and extremely low fat or something like that. Don't go in the extremes. And the reason being is because we know that carbohydrates are the primary source of energy, right? So when we want to do weight training and we really cut our carbs, that doesn't really make too much sense if you want optimal performance, right? Especially if you're doing a lot of volume. Now, step number 2, you don't want to cut the fats too low because fats are real important for hormone regulation as well. So that's that. I wish I didn't, because when I first started, man, I cut my carbohydrates so low, and we know that carbohydrates primarily spikes your insulin, and so does protein as well, so don't forget that. But insulin is very, very anabolic as well, and low carb, man, it just sucks. So those are the 3 biggest mistakes I guess I made, right? And the 4th one that I know loads of skinny guys make in the gym is that, and just loads of people in general, is they do like the machine exercises, the cables, but they neglect the compound exercises. Now, I don't know if that's, they just don't know how to do it or anything like that, but we know that compound exercises produce much larger muscle growth, especially in beginners, because let's face it, man, if you do a bench press, it works more muscle groups and it produces a larger amount of force than a chest press could, right? So that's that. Stay positive, stay smiling, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.